Welcome back to the Patient First Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Bryan Laskin, and of course, I'm looking to increase the influence of today's engaged dentist. Today, I'm going to offend some people, I think, and maybe I'm a little too excited to do that because I just came off of a keynote lecture that I did talking about technologies, and I offended some people in the front row. I was talking about digital technologies. I was talking about digital dentistry and how my viewpoint, looking at film x-rays versus digital x-rays, there's still, get this, there's still about 10% of dentists using film x-rays. And I said from the podium, from the stage, that I think if you're one of those 10% that are still using film x-rays, you have two options. You can either, number one, get digital x-rays, or number two, hang up your handpiece because you don't understand the value of clinical quality, experiences by patients, ROI, and team health. And I got an audible gasp and I thought it was great, frankly. I was like, oh my gosh. And then I felt very bad. I was like, did I offend this person? And so I came back and I was talking with my team, and Nate on my team said, hey, don't worry, Bryan. You're just the guy that points. You're the friend that says, hey, you have mustard on your shirt. And dentistry needs somebody to point at the shirts and say, you have mustard on your shirt. And so that's what I do. And so maybe you disagree with me, which if so, leave some comments. I'd love to debate with you. Send me a note. Why absolutely digital x-rays have higher clinical quality than film. That's usually what I hear film x-ray dentists leaning into. It's absolutely higher quality. There's no doubt about it. In fact, now you can layer AI with Overjet or Pearl, like to do the diagnostics for you. It's ridiculous how much higher clinical quality digital x-rays are. But I digress. Today, we're going to be talking about a different controversial topic. And by the way, if you agree with me, like and subscribe, because I am the one who's going to be showing up every week telling you, hey, buddy, do you have this mustard on your shirt? And today we're going to talk about a lot of mustard on people's shirts, because I think pretty much all of us, and unfortunately me more than anybody, has this particular issue that we're going to be addressing today. And I've brought it up before. It's a quote that I heard after I said it on this podcast. Frankly, I saw that Tony Robbins said it. It is that your busyness, our busyness, is destroying your business. Being busy destroys businesses. I like to say that busy is the new stupid, but oftentimes I follow it up with, and I might be the most stupid person on the planet because I'm very busy, but that's not an excuse. It's just the way that the cards are, and I'm working on it. Because why is busyness so damaging to our business? Well, we can't actually implement things. We can't look and see the opportunities and then put in place the answers to these opportunities to be able to capture the value of the opportunities on the back end. So what we tend up to do is we have our practices have these artificial cages around us, these guardrails. They might be our mindset. They might just be, frankly, just what we did yesterday. It's just easier to do it tomorrow all day long. And these limitations, they keep you and your team from obtaining the success that you could otherwise achieve, just flat out, right? I dive deep into these guardrails and how to remove them in the Insanely Productive Dentist Workshop series. And at the end of this podcast, I'll show you how you can get a $500 gift card towards that workshop series. But these are large concepts that we're going to talk about today that we dive deep into in the workshop series. But I want to take you through some actionable items today that you can help take control of your practice and become more profitable immediately. We've talked a lot about profitability lately. That's why I created the Insanely Productive Dentist Workshop series. It's because I don't know of a program today other than IPD that's pushing dentists to produce more than incremental improvement, to have exponential improvement, because I think dentists need to be more profitable, flat out today. I think if you look at your practice 3 years ago versus today, if you didn't change, it is becoming much less profitable. And so we need to take these guardrails down and put some fundamentals in place so that our businesses thrive, not just survive, but thrive. I don't think that anybody just survives in today's marketplace anymore. I think you're either thriving or dying because of the factors that are going on in dentistry. So let's get into it. What are the three things that I think you should do today to start becoming more profitable? Number one is to create a not doing list. Again, we go deep into it in Insanely Productive Dentist, but there's a lot of things that you're good at where you make quite a bit of money. There's also a lot of things that you probably, frankly, suck at that you're losing money doing. Get rid of those. And when I say get rid of, I don't mean you have to get rid of them in your practice. You could have another associate. You could have, if it's sealants, you could have an assistant that's phenomenal at doing them and is profitable when he or she does them, but not you. There's things that you aren't good at that you are not profitable doing, but you're still doing. Why? Because you did them yesterday, flat out. You haven't taken a step back and said, oh, what are the things that I'm not good at that I hate doing? So chart a path to do the things that you like doing where you make more, and chart a path to stop doing the things that you don't like doing and that you hate, right? This is going to take effort. There's been massive, massive things that I've done in my practice, including buy another practice, buy a building, put in a CT scan, make a bunch of calls, recruit an oral surgeon, because I was never good at doing oral surgery. Simple extractions. I was never good at them. I never liked them. They were never profitable because I never knew how long it was going to take me. So I just schedule more time. Oh boy, for the hour and a half for $100 was, I lost money every single time for probably a decade before I said, oh, I actually don't like doing oral surgery. And frankly, I'm not good at it. So maybe I should have somebody else do that. And in my practice versus sending it to an oral surgeon. Oral surgery is relatively easy for most of us because most of us live in an area where there is an oral surgeon you can refer to. But why not, if you want to keep that production in your practice, why not bring in an oral surgeon or have an associate that does oral surgery, right? There's multiple ways to stop doing things. The key, though, is to take the effort to look at what you're doing today and say, oh, I actually don't like doing this, or oh, I lose money doing this, so I'm going to find another way. And that effort, by the way, is 1,000% worth it. For me, another example was doing removable pros. Oh my gosh, I had so much stress when I would do an immediate denture. I didn't know what to do. Yet I still did it because I thought I'm a dentist. I have to do these things. No. I referred them out. Now we refer them in to dentists in my practice. Composite veneers. I don't like doing them. I don't know why. I charge less than a porcelain veneer. I get worse results every time. Not in my practice. If you want to have veneers done by Dr. Bryan Laskin, they're porcelain. If you want to have composite veneers, I do actually have an associate that loves doing composite veneers. Great. We don't all have to do everything all of the time. You can let patients know too that, oh, this isn't my specialty. Another way of saying I'm not good at doing this. Maybe you should find somebody else who is, especially for an elective procedure like a composite veneer. Now, I would say we do have an obligation to have our patients cared for, obviously. So it makes it easier. I'm in a larger city, so I can have associates with other dentists that I can refer to if I don't want to do the work. And I understand that if you're in a small town, it's going to be more difficult for you, but at least charge more. At least charge more. If you don't like doing the procedure, you can set your fees, right? So at least make things profitable. Again, just an idea, but in my practice, one of the best things I ever did was to create a not doing list. In fact, as I talk about Insanely Productive Dentist, I said to one of my assistants at one point, if I ever say I'm going to do an immediate denture again, slap me in the face as hard as you can. What I was doing is creating accountability for myself, because we all need accountability. I was telling my assistant, you be that person that points at my shirt and says, hey, buddy, you got mustard on your shirt. Or you can just slap me across the face as hard as you can, because I'm making a commitment now that I'm never doing one again because I'm horrible at them and they're not profitable. So that's number one. Number two, manage processes, not people. This is a massive, massive tip. I hope you pay attention. It's a huge one. And again, we go deep into this in the Insanely Productive Dentist. It's a lot of what we do because I think that processes are incredibly important. Systemization. We talk about it a lot on this podcast, but relying on people to do things versus processes is setting yourself up for failure, as a lot of people found out during the great reshuffling, the great resignation, right? By the way, if you're relying, here's a mustard on your shirt piece that I'm going to offend a lot of people. If you are relying on the great people in your office to execute on to create the success in your practice, to have a good patient experience, to be profitable, if you're relying on great people, you are failing your team. You're absolutely failing your team because employees, team members are looking for guidance on what to do and how to do it. They're craving it. In fact, the higher performing an employee, the more they want to have those systems and processes in place so that they know exactly what to do and then they can do their excellent work. So, if you say, well, I don't know how this process is done, and you can't figure it out because it's not written down somewhere, but Betty knows or Bob knows, you're failing your team members. That should be in place. You should be managing systems and processes, not people. Again, I've talked about it before. One of the worst wines in the world is Franzia, but it's number one. This box of garbage that they sell as wine is number one because of the system, the packaging, and how affordable it is, right? McDonald's sells garbage as food, yet they're one of the best, they're one of the most successful restaurants in the world because of the systems they have that run that business, not because of the talented employees that they have there. But the talented employees can actually do their best because of the systems that are in place, right? They've mastered systems. The best companies in the world, the most successful companies, including the most successful dental companies, dental practices, have systems in place. They probably also have great people too, but they're not great because of the people. They're great because of the systems that then attract great people. I'm going to say that again because I think most people think it's the people that develop the systems. And so if you have great people, you'll have great systems. Absolutely not true. If you have great systems, you will attract great people and retain them. And then, by the way, those great people will attract more great people. If you don't have the systems, what likely will happen is that great people will come in. They'll see that it's a bunch of garbage it's up to them as an assistant to figure out. Please, they're going to bounce and they're going to go somewhere else that has the systems in place. That's how it works. So again, don't mean to offend anybody, but I think that a lot of people out there should look at their systems, and we dive deep into it in IPD. Number 3, set your ops up for success. Let's face it, not all procedures are as profitable as others, right? We talked about it with number 1 with your not doing list. So setting up your ops all as much as you can to be able to do any procedure in any op, to make it so that you can bring in, if you're going to do oral surgery because it's profitable and you enjoy doing it, that you can take that hygiene op and extract that tooth, put in an implant that day for that patient, for patient convenience, is huge. Because what you can do is you can put the patient first, as is the name of our podcast, and do that procedure for that patient that day. And oftentimes those are incredibly profitable procedures. And to be able to do that, you can't be waiting for room 3 to open up, right? You should be able to see every patient for any procedure in any op, because then you can do those profitable procedures when they show up, which increases your profitability immensely. So, number 1, focus on not doing things, creating a not doing list to free yourself open to do the more profitable procedures that you enjoy doing. Number 2, focus on managing systems, developing systems and processes, not people. And number 3, make sure to set your ops up for success. Make sure that every op, you can do every procedure as much as possible. If you want to learn more, go to upgradedental.com/go. Again, I dive deep into all of this, including a lot of systems that you can implement into your practice so that you don't have to have a superhero employee to get done the great work that we do every day in dentistry. You'll have the systems and the processes to make yourself massively more profitable. Hope to see you there. Go to upgradedental.com. I'll see you next week in the Patient First Podcast. Thank you very much.